Brought to you by Carlton Draft.
Welcome back to the MCG, and it's the Tigers by a point at three-quarter time in a low-scoring but intriguing affair. And Duck, that was a massive goal at three-quarter time by young Anthony Miles to get the lead back for the Tigers, give them a bit of confidence going into the last quarter.
Oh, it sure was, Richo. They showed a bit of fight, the Tigers, didn't they? All of a sudden, in previous weeks, you thought, oh, the Tigers are in a little bit of trouble here. Here comes Sydney. Sydney started to get on top. They started to get the ball inside 50, but it was the desperation of the Tiger defenders. I mean, this type of stuff that you're seeing on screen now that the Tigers were able to do.
Because the question would have been asked by most people at half-time, could Richmond stand up in this third quarter after wilting in the last couple of weeks?
Well, exactly right. And I think the Richmond players themselves may have had doubts after they came out after half-time, but then they performed that. So this is game on, Richo. Yeah. I don't know, how do you think the Tigers will go?
Well, I think it's going to come down to whoever wins the clearance and contested possession. It sounds simplistic, but it was really even in that third quarter. If you can get it done at the coalface, I think you'll win this game. What do you reckon?
I think they've turned it into a fight, the Tigers. I think it'll go down to the wire.
What do you think, Lee and Tom?
Yeah, I think the summary's right. I think the contested possessions and clearances are the key. I always think in situations like this, I tend to go for the better team, the notionally better team, which is Sydney.
Well, that's right. I think the thing is they're playing a sort of low-effort game, not subconsciously low-effort. Yep. Everyone's trying their hardest, the Swans, and it's a bit like they got level and all of a sudden, that rather than going on with it, is it subconsciously you want to win the game easy?
Yeah.
I reckon that's their mindset tonight. So Richmond, if they can keep nipping at their heels, you never know.
Tigers by a point then as we start this final term on Friday Night Football. Marriage looking for Cochin. Bird going to the ground. Foley stood up in the tackle. Thomas couldn't control it. Malcheski only as far as Foley. Kicks inside the forward 50. Coming up the ground and missing it was Rampy. Getting through on a rampaging run is Martin, and he misses. Geez, a big body to bring down. So much to get your arms around. He's up to 29 possessions now as it skims the outside of the post.
So the Swans dodge a bullet there. He has been very good. Here's Zach Jones. We spoke to Nathan Jones in the countdown tonight. Short kick. It's his brother, of course, the Melbourne captain. So Brandon Jack, the two brothers. Not a great kick, actually, and Marriage filled the hole. Sure, there'll be a few teams out there wanting Sydney to get beaten tonight. And you think of those teams that are vying for a top 4 or top 2 spot. Deledio easily around Pike. And then Deledio's kick not great, and Richard should mark it, and he does. This would be a massive blow for Sydney's top 2 hopes. I mean, they'd still be in the mix for top 4, but top 2, this would be big, wouldn't it?
Well, they dropped those games early in the season against opposition you wouldn't have thought so, and they've done remarkably well to win 8 straight. But when you have a 1-3 start, you leave yourself slightly vulnerable.
So have a look at that table right now. You can just see the importance for Sydney here, and that top of the table. I mean, not only top 4 important, but 1 and 2 vital, isn't it?
The non-Victorian home final is hugely important.
Well, Miles.
High tackle here, please.
Tackle from McVeigh. So huge half hour here for the Swans in terms of the latter part of the season. Of course, for the Tigers as well to get a 4th win.
Miles, a high ball off hands, and immediately it goes out of bounds. Now, Sydney forced to go the distance with both Derricks and Mike Pike out there. Reece Shaw subbed out. Both those players just 4 possessions each. That's a heavy burden to carry in this final term. Could come down to run. Here's Martin. What a game he's played. Cochin, ditto. Can't bring it back enough, or can he? It's bending, it's trying to, and this is out to the right. Rampy comes up, or is it Bird holding his jaw? Bird.
Martin, one of 3 Richmond players in the 30 disposal. I really enjoy seeing him win ball middle of the ground forward, not so much the sort of loose player across half-back. He can be so damaging when he's got the ball in hand.
Ellis, another one with big numbers, Tom. It was a strange kick from Cunningham. Here's Matt Thomas, cut off by McVeigh. Big turnover maybe here, McVeigh. Buying some time, Rance and Franklin, Buddy in the back.
Has the back!
Done well, Rance, hasn't he? I mean, Damien Hardwick called it earlier, didn't he, a couple of days ago, where he said that background Sydney's done a good job on him. And Richo, you talked pre-match about what he's had to do. It's been an impressive effort.
Yeah, it has. And what he did then was he wanted to win the ball himself. He didn't just worry about defending Franklin. That's the key on a good player like Franklin. Try and win the ball yourself and intercept, and that's what he's done pretty well tonight.
As if on cue, he's got the footy now and smacks of a man who set himself for a big job today. He's been fanatical in his approach to the footy. Down in front, Thomas falling to the ground. Miles has got it. Jones has got him. Ellis's fingertips. Smith, now Cunningham. Goes down towards half forward. Kennedy, who's drifted out of the game, takes the mark about 70 metres out. 17 possessions, coming up for his 18th, Josh Kennedy. As we said, the birthday boy. An unbroken streak of 120 games. Big leap at the back there from Reid. Vlostone was upended. Nicely done by Parker to Franklin. Franklin snaps. And he's got his third. Nothing Rance could do.
Yeah, I think that as you have a look here again, it's just you just can't allow Buddy that much space on the boundary line, can you? But he's a terrific player, and as the boys said, give him a little bit of space, all of a sudden 3 goals for Buddy.
Well, every time the Swans have hit the front, Richmond have got back the lead within 2.5 minutes tonight. So let's see here. Lee talked about the fact that Sydney have been getting to the lead, but not really taking advantage of that hard work. So who gets the next goal here? Jack ridden into the ground. Goods. Martin has been terrific. Ball not out yet. And still not out. Still not out. Still not out. And the umpire will take it.
It's taking longer to blow the whistle tonight. They seem to be wanting the ball to spill out.
Umpire tosses it up. Knocked down by Marich. Foley had it, lost it. Well done by Marich on his knees. Delidio. Grimes inside the forward 50. Richards coming to meet it. Thinks about the boundary. Well, tries to slide out of bounds. He was taken high in any case. He'll get the free.
It's been a good matchup also, the Richards Riewoldt matchup. Jack started the game drawing the footy really well. Teddy's battled on manfully and probably splitting it at the minute.
Nice kick. Kennedy needs to get busy. Poor old Jack a bit stiff there because he indicated to the umpire he thought that Richards had taken a dive, and I think he did, and as a result the tackle was high. Initially didn't touch him, but of course Richards would say he slipped. Close to the boundary, runs out of bounds. Vlostone in pursuit. Sydney lead by 3 early going, final term on a Friday night. Close game, not a pretty game.
A 9-3 team playing a 3-9. One team that's won 8 straight. Trying to get away, Kennedy. Delidio clever to Miles, to Martin. Martin might fancy himself here. Gets back to Hurley, to Ellis, back to Morris. Good kick, well played, Morris. And Riewoldt with a chance to match Franklin here and get back that lead. We talked about that 2.5 minutes that the Swans have in front tonight.
Jack, that's your line. That's
Richo,
your line.
these are the big kicks, aren't they? I mean, he has always talked about, Jack, these are the big kicks.
Yeah, and Franklin's been able to convert his 2 big set shots tonight from 50 and had the skill before to snap a goal in a tight game around the corner like that. So now Jack can match him. That's why these guys, I guess, get paid the big bucks to be goal kickers. So we've got to kick these.
So much resting on this. Can Jack match Buddy and get back the lead? It looks like he's missed. Well,
good build up there by Richmond. Again, didn't blaze away, used the ball laterally through centre half forward to open up the space for Jack. Just needed to go back and do his job.
Technically he did everything right, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rampy to the run of Smith. It was a precise kick. Cunningham looking back towards the middle. It's very early to go. Well, he goes back, so not a lot of danger there. Grundy, Rampy. Now he's a left footer. And as a result, runs himself into trouble. He couldn't align himself properly. Comes back to Cunningham, so take 2. Cunningham. Again, wanting to go inboard. Eventually goes to the short one. Jack, well, he was pushed in the back. Bit lucky. Well over his head, just at full stretch. Fingertips to it. So Jack with this ball, the defensive side of left centre wing. 7-9 Richmond, 8-5 Sydney. Swans by 2 points. Kennedy. Out of bounds on the fall. Grimes to get the free.
It's been a frustrating night in the box, you would think, for both coaches in a way. I mean, Damien Hardwick's led for most of the night, the Tigers. Grimes back. So you feel like a big turnover one way or the other here is going to be massive, don't you, Floston? Both teams are playing carefully, aren't they? Martin.
Spot on, Bruce. And the team that wants to take it on from this position will win the game. No one's been wanting to come into the middle in that situation.
Deledio was the third man up now. Maybe some run. Thomas to Edwards. Deledio tapping it on, and just uncontrollable ball. Zach Jones just did enough there in his first game and a boundary throw-in. It's been a tough year for Damien Hardwick, a really difficult season so far for Richmond. This would give them an enormous boost.
Just inside the 50, as you can see. Boundary throw-in. Hampson thumps it back towards the boundary. Young Jones, who started as the sub, making his debut. Well done by Thomas, got a hand in there. The ricochet favoured Martin, but Jones butted up again. Another boundary throw-in.
Just watch Deledio off the back of the stoppage here. Brandon Jack's starting to push up towards him, but no one really manning him. He's got to get on the move.
Yeah, well, Brandon Jack perhaps the more dangerous of the two Tigers. Could have been advised to go to Deledio, who tracks this ball across the boundary.
He did push up eventually, but Deledio's got to get aggressive and push forward. Make it known to his teammates that Parker's on him now, but make it known to his teammate that he's got a clear run at the footy.
So Derek's doing the ruck work against Hampson. And that ball rolling around, Bird trying to get it out. And a quicker whistle then and a ball up. So a real stalemate, isn't it? I mean, next goal you feel just massive. I mean, Sydney have held the lead for longer. Revolt missing that gettable one. Little give McVeigh's had a good second half, hasn't he? Franklin held on to that time. No free kick. Takes them on, fending. Good hands. Parker. And then Batchelor rode the bump. And the ball up.
This sort of match has proven the spectacle doesn't matter if the scores are close.
Yeah.
Lucky the scores are close, because there's not much of a spectacle.
So Derrickson Hampson laid down Kennedy, Thomas, and again a ball up. Gee, who's keeping count of the rolling mauls tonight and the ball's up?
Well, 91 tackles now for the Swans. I mean, anything over 100 is huge, and there's still plenty of time left for them to crack the ton.
One down by Hampson. Arriving quickly, Miles. Missed the target, but ample time for Batchelor to go back. Deledio, a bit too cool for school. Ellis in trouble. Chaplin. Miles kept his head. Nice work, young fella. Drives it up towards the wing. At the back there, Smith through his hands and out of bounds. No one prepared to take this game on. Boundary throw in down towards right half forward for the Tigers. Who trail by 2. Derricks and Hampson lock up again. Hampson wins it. Deledio got another hand to it, taken by Foley. Floats it down towards half forward. Grundy worked out okay. Another boundary throw in.
You get the feeling it might take a big contested mark inside 50 from either team to win this game, because there's just nothing happening in space at the moment.
Hey, Richo, next goal wins almost, isn't it? I mean,
it feels like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
We've got such a long way to go. I mean, anything can happen, but it's not at the moment. Yes, Jones, Bird, well done, Martin, Kennedy, Cochin worked hard with Malcheski. It was a good contest. Cochin, ball almost out. Malcheski, McVeigh. Sydney have to be very careful here, of course, because it's within 40 metres. And the ball
I reckon
up.
these teams have been watching the World Cup in the soccer, where you just handle the ball a lot but don't score much.
Well, it's 8-7.
Not handle the ball.
They could do with a
maintain possession.
Could do with a Timmy Cahill moment right now.
Gee, that was clever by Martin, tapping back to Foley. Maybe here's the big mark you're talking about, Richo. Grundy, good tackle, ball not out yet. Heard the call, Pettit. Smith, it was touch, so play on. Reed and Chaplin and the boundary throwing. Somebody please do something.
I'll tell you what, though, Alex Rance is sitting back on the wing here with Buddy Franklin, then grass to the goals. He'd be feeling really nervous right now.
Derricks and Hampson. Called it before. Salidio goes after it. Martin did nicely. Cooley's in trouble now. Over the football. Kennedy trying to wrench it away. Did okay too. Franklin kept it alive. Brandon Jack, well, he waited for Franklin to come back in. We'll watch that again. Franklin's kick inside the forward 50. It's a foot race back. Cunningham is slick. Gathers the football off to Lloyd. The two youngsters get it behind. In tandem, Lloyd and Cunningham. Watch this again.
Yeah, that's out of bounds, no doubt about it. That's the counter-attack from the World Cup too. All the numbers back and then just get it forward.
Forward into space. That's the modern game, isn't it?
Yep.
Eddie Betts has just tweeted him. What are you talking about out of bounds, he said. So Richmond dodged the bullet. Lloyd missing one. It's a good kick from Franklin in. Cunningham did his bit. Well done, Conker. Copped a high one. Foley. Maybe now it opens up. Foley stretching them. Had the short lead. Decides to go long to the forward pocket. Cotchin's had a big night. Can he finish it? Edwards in the back. A throw, was it? Against Cotchin. Gee. Thought it might have been in the back against Smith. So Smith with a short kick to Bird, to Grundy, over the top to Richards. Richards with a running bounce.
And plenty of time, sends it. Oh, that's a bad kick, wide of the mark, intended for Cunningham. Bounces to the lively Ellis. He's on the wing, goes by hand, misses the target. Morris trying to burn Jack off, kicks inside the forward 50. Missed down there by all and sundry. Runs free at the back. Richards first back. Arriving quickly, Pettit. Jarred the ball out. Getting a hand to it and doing pretty well was Rampy. Jack tried to centre with a hand pass there. Now Smith comes away out of the back pocket. Kicks it up towards the wing. Big leap, big swing. He missed it. As a result, it was Boston who missed it. Brandon Jack went to Kennedy, to Parker. Now they're running hard. It's one-on-one inside the forward 50. Kick favours Chaplin. Despairing lunge. Couldn't take the mark. Bounces to his feet. Gives it to Hampson. Coming through, centre-half back is Shane Edwards. Rebound opportunity for the Tigers. Then Thomas spears a pass. Bounced off the chest of Pettit. Over the top goes Rampy. And he attracts a crowd. We'll have a ball up just outside the 50 for the Tigers. So a bit of end-to-end stuff.
Starting to open up.
Got exciting for a moment, didn't it? It really did. Sydney have had a couple of chances, haven't they? I mean, with Kennedy running forward there, you felt like they could have created more. Parker taken down. Kennedy, well done. That was really good to McVeigh. McVeigh to Cunningham. His run's important, Cunningham, the youngster. Now he's trying to buy some time. He's gone back. But he was a long, long way away. Malcheski normally very, very good with ball in hand. Can he find the target? Well, Franklin got worked out if it was a poor kick in the end by Malcheski. And Batchelor takes the mark. So the Swans have had some chances here. Rance.
Yeah, they've had the main breaks through the congestion, but the Richmond defence has held up.
Rance to Marriage.
One-on-ones all over the ground now. I mean, a huge fatigue set into both sides. Harder for longer.
High ball to the wing. Both sides playing two talls at the moment. Hampson was up for the mark. Jones did nicely. Jack, that's Brandon. Malcheski dangerous with the ball in hand. Franklin tried to lose his marker. Again, Rance did well. Dragged down play on was the call. I don't think Rance was trying to claim the mark. Ball came inadvertently to him. And umpire Dalglish only about 10 metres away. We'll ball it up. I think Alex must have known it was touched, but tried to pull it off anyway. Thomas charges into the pack, well-intentioned. Goods, Kennedy. Please, ball up.
Kennedy lifting a bit, isn't he? I mean, he and McVeigh really lifting for the Swans.
Talk about the hard stuff for Kennedy. Already 17 contested possessions and 12 tackles, 8 clearances.
Hard ball for the ruckman there. There is Kennedy again. Toe poke. Edwards, well done to Miles. So much to like about him. Down the line. Sydney keeping the pressure up. Laidler back to Grundy. Grundy keeping it tight towards the pocket. Pike has had a fumbly sort of night, but his first time back, he was a late withdrawal last week. And he just fumbled it over the line. But for Richmond right now, they're a long way from goal. And for them, 3 points at the moment seems like a small mountain to climb.
Need to hold here. Pike decisively down to Parker, who missed the football. Ellis off the ground by Jack. Well, the two Jacks are in there. Eventually comes to Parker. Well played by Goods. Kick goes down towards the pocket. Franklin with his shadow Rance, but he knocks it out of bounds.
Just watching Rance, what he does really well is he watches the ball first and foremost, but he does engage his opponent. It's a bit Matthew Scarlett-like in the way he sort of shifts his hips at the last minute and just gets Franklin's arms out of position to mark the ball. He's defended really well.
Knocked down in front. Goods close to the boundary line. Decides to keep it in. Hits it against the body of Chaplin. It goes out.
Could be dangerous here, Goods, I reckon. I mean, he's just the sort of guy that might snap a goal, I reckon.
It's a bit of individual brilliance within this congested area. That's what's going to win the game at one of these forward stoppages.
Pike tapped it down. Thomas read it well. Kennedy charged it, couldn't quite. Thomas took a while, but he gets the ball wide. Rather Richards, but well done in the front there. That was courageous from Aaron Edwards. He against the tide, and Richmond gained 50 valuable metres. So Sydney have been pushing up, and now Richmond pushing back.
Pike and Marriage. Pike wins it. Did well. Down to Jack. Goes with the outside of the boot. Franklin again being held, says the umpire.
Back here.
Oh dear. Careful. Got the footy.
Back here. No. Back in. Holds back here. Bad.
Yeah, that's enough for grapple and a hold, yeah. I mean, when you engage the body, as Rance has been doing all night, it's just a fine line. Do you hold on, or do you just grapple just a bit too aggressively?
Gee.
Franklin's first free kick of the night. He's given away 4. Kenny Rogers said it best, you got to know when to hold him. And that didn't work out too well in a close finish, but he's been pretty good tonight, Rance. It's been a wonderful duel. It's been the highlight of the game after Cochin's opening term. Franklin gets his 4th, and that's the danger in him.
Well, he's kicked brilliantly tonight, hasn't he? From all distances.
Yeah, he has. He's really lost, as we said, that inconsistency with the way the ball swings. It swings exactly like a left footer should swing now.
He's had some good last quarters over the last 2 weeks, hasn't he? All 3 last week and the 2 so far this week. Jones did well. Back to Malcheski. This is Sydney's biggest lead. Doesn't get it past Marriage, though. Tigers need to reply here. The Swans have got the clock in their favour on a night like tonight.
Oh.
Cunningham couldn't quite. Hooley, good with ball in hand. That one not so good, and Grundy did it well.
They need to roll the dice, the Tigers. They're not going to grind out a win here. They've actually got to take some serious risks when they've got the ball through the middle of the ground.
Goods protected the ball well. Not a great kick. Cunningham on his bootstraps, and that's out on the full. So he stepped out, did he? So a boundary throwing. So, well, that looks like a match-winning lead almost. I mean, in the context of what we're seeing, one goal to Richmond since half-time, and that was on the three-quarter time siren, and they need 2 to win from here.
And the Tigers' biggest lead tonight, 26 points. Some work to do. Pike and Marriage. Hot ball for Jack in front of the pack. Delidio, Malcheski got in. Conker, who's drifted out of the game, back after injury tonight. Martin brilliantly done. 1-2 with Miles. Moving on and applying a good tackle, McVeigh, but Miles wins it back. Chance for the Tigers, goes to Batchelor. Batchelor across the ground. This will be interesting. Petted, worked off the line of the football by the slippery Brandon Jack. Laid it down for Cunningham. That could be a big play in the context of the game. Now they're away. Kieran Jack to half forward. Down goes Franklin. No free. Butters up again. He whacks Rance in the mush. Tries to defend the football. Third mouse gets the cheese. Chaplin across to Thomas. Goes to Batchelor. Reading it well is Brandon Jack. Knocks it away from Pettit close to the line. And ushered across, boundary throw in.
He's done some good things, the debutant Zach Jones, hasn't he? He's had a good effort about him, and he's made good decisions.
Wasn't Buddy tripped in again?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
I mean, it was a bit stiff, I reckon. McVeigh, Kennedy. It's been a brilliant duel, that one. Rance and Franklin.
On the ball. Didn't correctly dispose of it. That's your mark right there.
So Parker.
Wait there, play on.
Off a step, just a high ball hoping. Derrick's down there with Chaplin. Chaplin made the spoil. It falls into Derrick's lap. Jetta did well, worked Hooley away, and then it dribbles out, but it's at the wrong end of the ground. Richo, what has to happen here for the Tigers?
Well, I just think obviously they need a clear clearance win here and someone to burst out, but it's just about impossible. You've got Sam Reid sitting behind the ball now, so it's going to take an act of brilliance, really.
Pike knocked it down, standing his ground, Ellis. Pike comes again. Marriage off the ground, touched by Goods, close to the boundary. Foley takes a turn towards the boundary. Well done by Goods to Laidler. Laidler hard against the line. Long kick. How will this one bounce? Well, didn't get a chance to. Just cleared the line, brushing the post wide.
Well, here's their chance now.
Yeah, good result for the Tigers, wasn't it, if they can use it. So Morris gets it back from Conker. Hooley, they have to really break the line here. Take a chance.
Hawley didn't kick then because of Reid down the line.
Martin.
Now Chesky's the other one who's plugging holes too.
Sloppy handball. He's played well, Martin. He's been terrific. Morris, Hooley. Sydney will try and corral them as much as they can. Rance off Franklin. A second bounce. He's great in full flight. Handball over the top's a poor handball. Marriage. Still with Marriage. Little kick inside. Chaplin on the wrong side for him. Almost cut off by Smith, not quite. Reid's got to get it out here. He's not trying to do anything, Reid. I reckon he's in trouble. No. Oh, gee. He's just sort of sat on it. Rather Teddy Richards, sorry. It wasn't Reid, it was Teddy Richards. So Goods off the ground with maybe a shoulder problem.
Just a stinger, I reckon. Just had the dead arm.
Jones falling to the ground at Kennedy. Back to Grundy, and that's a lucky kick. Cunningham running hard as Jetta. Nobody behind centre as far as the Swans are concerned. Now they're running back, so Franklin just has to bide his time. He'll kick it up towards the wing, or will he? Now he goes back to Richards. One couple inside the forward 50 for the Swans and nobody else inside the forward half still. There goes Richards. That's a nice kick. Spotted a man in behind a couple there, Franklin and Conker, and that man is Bird. So we're down to less than 2 minutes remaining in this one. Margin is 10 points in a very low-scoring affair. Derrick's in front, over the top Parker, and it's out of bounds.
The Swans have got into lead preservation mode now with a couple of minutes to go. They're just not going to play any kind of risk footy now.
So it's a 2-goal margin, basically. Goals so difficult. Just one for Richmond. Oh, gee. Thomas, well done, Conker. Need a mark, get a mark. Delidio, gee. Jones gets it from Smith. That'll be talked about. Bird, and that might be the ball game. Delidio within range, seemingly stopping the mark, or the ball in flight. So Jetta, it's at the wrong end for the Tigers. Jetta, Goods, he'll get it, and he does.
That was the case, wasn't Groans? He looked for his opponent then, and Goods looked at the footy.
Was Delidio a marker? I thought it was.
It looked like it was controlled, didn't it? It just looked like it stuck.
Yep.
It's a good lesson for young defenders to keep playing the game out. And he's arguably the best small defender in the competition, but Grimes on that occasion just went to Goods, really just had to back himself, arc around and have a crack at the mark himself.
He equals Andrew McLeod 340 next week, the most games by any Indigenous player in the history of the game, and he's missed it. So he was very careful with it. He's played well, Goods.
Yeah, I think he's actually, his progression over the last month, once he got back into the team, starting to get match fitness.
Tigers need to be really perfect from here. Down in front, it's Miles. Goes towards half forward. Revolt on the lead, knocked away by Richards. Hacked forward by Conker. There's that man we've been talking about, particularly Richard, just back there, Reid, gathering the ball. Not a high mark, but down low. Goes to Rampy on the outer side. There's not enough time for the Tigers now. That's a wayward kick. But they've got men behind the ball. Ellis will take this ball. It's taking an eternity to come back. There's Swans fans in the front row. They won't throw it back as the short one goes to Batchelor, and we're down to 12 seconds.
So Batchelor off a step to half forward, and no mark taken. So the Swans with 9 consecutive wins after tonight. You've got to go back to 1935 since they've won 10 in a row. They've got GWS next week, so nearly 80 years since they've won 10 straight, and they'll be heavy favourites to do it. There's a lot of catching up to do tonight, but they keep themselves very much in line for a top 2 spot. It hasn't been pretty, but it's 4 big points, and Franklin with 4. And Sydney get the points by 11 in the end over Richmond in an absolute grind at the MCG.
Sky, what though the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
So Damien Harwick's expression sums it up. Richo, Brad Gilbert wrote in the book, winning ugly, eh? That's what it was about tonight, but they got the points.
Yeah, that's thanks, Bud. Bruce just said winning ugly. That's what it was like tonight. It was just a hard-fought contest.
Yeah, definitely. The contested ball was on from the start until the end, and we knew they were going to come like they did, and they brought their A game tonight, and we had to really dig hard to get the 4 points today, and it's a solid win by the boys, so we walk away pretty happy with that.
What about your own form, Bud? You've really coming back to your best now, I reckon. The last 5 goals last week and 2 crucial goals in the last quarter tonight.
Yeah, finding a little bit of form, slowly getting used to the way the boys play, and we're halfway through the season now, but I'm just looking forward to the next half of the season, and I'm just playing some really good football for the club.
You're spot on. You had to get used to your new club, your new teammates, the way they played. Did it sting you a little bit, some of the criticism early in the season?
You don't hear too much of it up Sydney, mate. It's pretty quiet. But no, it is what it is, mate. I just enjoy playing football and getting out there with your mates each week, and it helps when you're winning games of football.
Well done tonight.
Cheers, Richard.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
He had 4 shots tonight and kicked 4 goals, and Jack had 4 and kicked 2 too.
Against an opponent who was terrific on him.
Yeah,
it just goes to show what his capabilities are.
And Revolt looked lively for most of the night, and I mean, he just misses a. It would have been a big kick, wasn't it?
Would have been a really frustrating night for Jack. They've only had the 37 inside 50s with all that possession domination.
He looked dangerous, didn't he? Well, Josh Kennedy with you, Matty.
Yeah, yes, Josh. It was a hard-fought, contested clearance game in that second half, and probably suited your own form.
Yeah, I mean, they got us on a lot of the numbers. I thought we were pretty direct and stuck to our guns. It was a really tough game, but could have gone either way, but we just got over the line in the end.
You had to adjust a little bit early because they really possessed the football, over 100 possessions in the first quarter. Probably didn't go as to plan for you guys.
Yeah, not really. We had to press up a bit. We were allowing them too many short kicks and easy outlet kicks, so we had to address that and try and close those outlets and really crowd them and pressure them, especially in our forward half. And we were sort of able to do that, especially at the start of the second half. I thought we set the tone with our inside 50s, and I think we played the game in our half, and we're able to sort of climb back.
It's been an amazing few months for the Swans. You started the year a little bit slowly, but really got momentum now. You must be feeling good about the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the poor start didn't help, but to bounce back, and the last sort of 9-10 games we've had now, it's been really good. Having said that, I think the last 2 weeks we've got a lot to improve on as well. We've been beaten in the contested possession and uncontested possession, so we'll have to address that. So positive that we still can obviously improve.
Didn't have Dan Hanbury through the middle tonight. Did it take a little bit of adjusting early?
Oh, look, I think, I'm not sure. He's obviously a great player, and we miss him a lot. And him and Benny McGlynn, the pressure around the ball, and Hannes' run, and his ability to win a contested possession as well. So maybe it took a bit of time to adjust, but, I thought a lot of the young guys stood up, and I thought Zach Jones, when he came on, did it really, really well. So it's really good for the club.
Well done, Josh. Played well.
Thanks, mate.
Having a fantastic year, isn't he? Josh Kennedy, 24 disposals tonight and 17 contested. Just saw Reece Shaw a moment ago. That didn't look great, did it, at the end of the match? And their injuries crawled them last year, the Swans.
Yeah, they did.
They're getting a few at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, into key players. And things like lower leg injuries, ankles, can linger around, particularly when you start to, painkillers and those sorts of things.
Might have been just a night's game, but Hanbury is really one of their real... You get one runner down, then all of a sudden the ball doesn't move as quickly, and certainly it might have been credit to Richmond, but the Swans didn't really get the ball flowing like they can in the absence of Hannaby. If Shaw's injured, McGlynn wasn't there tonight. You have a few of your good ones out. You struggle in that area.
And when the Derek's Pike situation tonight, Tippett's probably not far away from coming back. So that will change probably. But look, they've got 4 points. It's one of those ones they had to get, and they've got the win.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there, Bruce. The structure of the side and what it might look like in September for the Swans is still up for grabs. You know, does Reid play permanent forward? Does he pinch hit down back, second ruck? Can you play Tippett, Derricks and Pike? You probably can't. So there's still a few unknowns about Sydney. But
when you string together a lot of wins, you've got to win one or two but you just struggle, and there might be the ugly win, to use that term, where you don't play well, but you still find a way to get home, and that was the Swans tonight.
And you said, Lee, didn't you? They looked flat from the get-go, and then we saw the rev up from the coach, John Longmire, at quarter time. But a win's a win, 4 points is 4 points, and they keep that top 2 spot alive.
We started the night league saying, are they the premiership favourites? And, you know, for a lot of people, it was about a 50-50 call. Well, they didn't play like premiership favourites tonight, but they've kept themselves in a position on the ladder to win a flag, haven't they, by being up near the top 4 and 2?
Yeah, absolutely, and they had a huge game against the ladder leaders, Port Adelaide, last week, and played well enough to win, and sometimes you just chalk that down. And what John Longmire would be pleased with, things weren't necessarily going their way the start of the game, but they grounded out. They had almost 100 tackles and blooded another youngster in Zach Jones who looks like he can play at the level. Interesting there, Tom, that he was waiting for them, John, right there as they came in, as they're about to sing the song. He wanted to reinforce it. He liked their effort, obviously. Zach Jones getting the best type of spray kick. 7 of the last 8 goals, the Swans get the points. Plenty more still to come on Friday Night Footy, including the pressers coming up after this.